Thanks, Stacy, and everybody. Uh, I'll have a shorter talk than Mo's, and you won't need a microscope to see what I'm going to be getting at. And this talk is more of a call to action for you guys than to teach a whole lot. I'm talking about urban bryophytes, bryophytes that live in a city, and it really represents a gap in what we know because there hasn't been a lot of study of bryophytes in cities. But what you see in this picture is Bryum argenteum. It's usually one of the first mosses everybody gets to know because you can find it in your yard. You can find it in the sidewalk. Indeed, it's known as silver sidewalk moss. And there it is, right in the sidewalk. So what are challenges to the poor mosses and liverworts that have to try to live in a city? Well, first off, cities are massively disturbed habitats. They're polluted, and I brazenly stole these photos off of the internet, these two at least. But there's massive pollution in a lot of the cities, like you see in that one photo on the right. There's an asphalt or concrete jungle, like you see in the upper left. Much of the vegetation is missing, although some cities are trying to correct that. Trash and pollution are common and cover the substrate or poison it. And even city parks are a bryophyte wilderness in some ways because they're covered in grasses and lawns, where if you're lucky to find a bryophyte, it's usually along the edges. Tall buildings block wind and they trap heat. And you have other sources of heat like vehicles, air conditioning, and other industrial machines and so forth. And the heat creates these things called heat islands, which you may have heard this term urban heat island talking about other organisms such as vascular plants. You know, what happens in a city is in the central business district, you can have a temperature as much as 7 degrees Fahrenheit, or what you see here in the centigrade scale is probably about 4 degrees centigrade. Can be that much warmer in the central business district of a city than it is in the rural area around it. And that causes quite a bit of difference in terms of where the rain falls, in the length of growing season. It certainly has to do with whether the air quality is good or bad. And urban bryophytes have to deal with this. Not all cities will have an urban heat island, though. In those that do, the bryophytes there may disappear with global warming. We don't know the answer to that. We need to be looking at what bryophytes are living in cities to know whether they're going to disappear or not. My guess is it's going to be a lot like what happened in Europe with lichens with pollution. You're going to find that the more pollution you have, the more the bryophytes disappear. And with global warming, you're going to find a change, at least, in their bryophytes in cities, would be my guess. There's no proof of that yet. So what's a bryophyte inventory and why do we need to do them in a city? An inventory, we had this discussion, seems like not too long ago, maybe just a week or two ago on this forum. An inventory can be simple, just like a list, or it can be more detailed and relate the findings of what organisms you have to certain variables, such as elevation or temperature, or a number of other things as well. One thing that's clear, though, is the urban environment is not the same as the surrounding area. And the urban heat island is proof of that. So I think there's plenty of reason to think that the urban flora will be different from the surrounding rural areas. And what will be important is to be able to compare that flora to what's here or what's there in that city sometime down the road, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, whatever is important to you. That implies we have to know what's here now in order to compare it to what's there then. Okay, so what bryophyte inventories do we have? Most people are interested in pretty places. So most bryophyte inventories that are out there are national parks or state parks or other types of defined natural areas. And I'm picking on our little group here. We've done the Gila Cliff Dwellings and Carlsbad Caverns and El Malpais, all in New Mexico. Those are really pretty places. We've done Bixby in Iowa, which is a very pretty place. None of those are a city, you might notice. Most inventories that have been done are actually vascular plant inventories, and they do not, for the most part, include bryophytes in them. Sometimes, such as Santa Cruz County in California, where Ken Kelman did a county level bryophyte inventory, sometimes you'll have a county level bryophyte inventory, but that does not, for the most part, qualify as an urban bryophyte inventory. So where have inventories been done? Well, generally speaking, there are far more vascular inventories or vascular floras than there are bryophyte inventories or floras. So if you look at where the vascular inventories or floras have been done, dozens of them have been done in cities in Europe, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, and so forth. If you look where urban inventories have been done in the United States, vascular floras, there are 4 that I could find. So urban floras, that is. So urban vascular floras. So if you have 4 urban vascular floras in the United States, you know there are going to be fewer than that bryophyte floras. So again, around the world, I could find lots of bryophyte inventories, urban bryophyte floras around the world. Vienna, Austria, Trento, which is in Italy, Belgrade, which is in Serbia, I believe. Yep, in Serbia. You can see, and if you look for African bryophyte floras in urban areas, you can find them. If you look in Indonesia, you can find them. In China, there are lots of urban bryophyte inventories that have been done in cities around the world. Mostly they're in larger cities. Trento's only got a population of 119,000. That's still pretty big, though. They usually have a fairly large area, as you can see here. Vienna is 160 square miles. Belgrade's 150 square miles. These are pretty big places. How about urban inventories of bryophytes in the United States? Well, there's a bryophyte inventory of New York City, which is ongoing right now. There's no results out yet. New York City's got a population of 8.6 million, and the city is over 300 square miles. We don't have the results of that yet. The only real urban bryophyte inventory that I could find that's completed in the U.S. is in San Francisco by friends of a lot of us. Jim Shivak and David Torin did this 25 years ago in San Francisco. And although they called it the county and the city, really in San Francisco, the county is the city. Mm-hmm. And it has a population of 827,000 with an area of 47 square miles, still pretty big. 128 bryophyte texts recorded. Good for Shivak and Torin, by the way. But there are only 2 that I could find, only one of which was done, finished. Which bryophytes are most common in urban areas? Well, we know what's going on in Europe from all their urban bryophyte inventories, and we know that Torcha muralis is very common. And indeed, Karen and I have visited Europe a number of times, and we find Torcha muralis all over the place. They are growing in walls around gardens and whatnot. We have not found Torcha muralis, by the way, in New Mexico. Bryum argenteum and Grimmia pulvinata, however, are common in Europe urban floras, and indeed they're also present in our flora, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. However, there have only been 2 completed large city inventories, actually any city inventories in North America. And since we don't have enough studies, we really don't know what the common mosses are, bryophytes are in urban inventories in North America. We need more inventories. We just don't have them. We have 2, only one of which is done. Uh-oh, here comes Silver City, New Mexico. Silver City, New Mexico is 4 or 5 miles south of where Karen and I live. And I quite unabashedly stole all 4 of these photos off the internet. You'd think I live here, I could have taken these pictures, but I took a couple other ones at Silver City, you'll see in a minute. Our group, we have a group of 10 or 15 folks that are doing a complete botanical flora of Silver City, including vascular plants and bryophytes. So here's what Silver City, New Mexico looks like. There's downtown area, residential areas, and it has some other rather unique areas I'll show you a picture of. Here's the downtown area. This is our Main Street area. Plenty of asphalt. We don't have large skyscrapers in Silver City. So we don't know if we have an urban heat island. In fact, I've asked about temperature measurements here, and we don't have any way of estimating whether or not there's an urban heat island here. Here's the Boston Hill open space. This is almost a square mile. That's a tenth of the area of Silver City. Everything you see in this picture is in Silver City town limits. So we have some pretty good open areas with some pretty good habitat. This is an area that used to be a mining district that's been reclaimed, and a lot of it is good habitat for bryophytes. Something interesting had happened in Silver City just after 1900, something around 1902, 1903, was that the main street, that's Main Street now, this main street used to be a block east of where it is now. This was the main street in 1902, and it flooded away and made this great big eroded ditch, which has since been made into a city park. So this is now a city park. It used to be Main Street a little over 100 years ago. And as you can see, this is great bryophyte habitat. What is Silver City like? We have a population all of 9,000 people. We have a whole city area that's about 3 by 3 miles, so it's 10 square miles. And in this 10 square miles, we have so far, and we've been going for about 5 years now with our inventory, we've found 36 bryophyte taxa, 35 mosses, 1 liverwort, and no hornworts here, but the whole state of New Mexico has never recorded a hornwort. There's Pterogonerma ovatum from that Boston Hill open area I was showing you a second ago. That's an interesting one for us because it actually is a Grant County record that we found here in the city limits. There won't be a test on this. I think I just threw this slide in so you could basically see what we had found. I won't stay here very long. You can see Mannia californica is the only liverwort we've found in the city limits. It's a thallus liverwort. The family spread of what we've found here in Silver City mimics basically the state. So Podiaceae is our Southwest specialty, and that's in fact by far our most common family here. Bryaceae, Grimiaceae, and Brachytheciaceae are the next three, along with Orthotrichaceae. This pretty well mimics the state. Centrichia by far has the most species, along with Grimia and Gemmabrium. A lot of families were represented by a single species. What have been the biggest surprises? The liverwort was kind of a surprise, Mannia californica. We are in the Southwest, so we don't have, at least in the city, we don't have very many leafy liverworts. Ophicidens is always fun to find, so I listed that as a big surprise in the city. And then the Pterogonerma ovatum, which is a Grant County record. It's a moss that has these plates of cells on the costa, a lot like the Polytrichaceae do. So I mentioned at the beginning, this was a call to action. We only have two completed or ongoing bryophyte inventories in cities if you don't count Silver City. Silver City is the only small town inventory underway that I know of. You can do in your hometown. It's so easy to do. Most of what you're going to find are common species, not all of them, but most of them. You don't have to travel anywhere to do it. It doesn't cost you much. There's no gas or hotel to pay for. You can get some friends and you can have a little party going out there and looking for bryophytes, and you're contributing to a knowledge base. There's a big knowledge gap about which bryophytes are in cities, especially in North America. That's our team there in the lower right. Of the people listed there, you see John Titus there. He's on our Zoom right now. And I believe John and I are the only two in that group that are doing bryophytes, other than Karen. She's doing the liverworts. There's Mannia californica. And that's
Cool.
what more people need to be doing this.